What's up, big baller shot callers? Big Ken here. Welcome from the Grit Room Sports Talk Show. Joe my co-host Monty Brown. What's up, brother?
What's up? What's up? What's up? Yeah, we're a week late on this Super Bowl, but hey man, we both got jobs, we gotta work, our schedules clash, we gotta cover it sometime. So
Yeah,
sorry about that, folks, but we're gonna get to it.
yeah. It's been a week. Super Bowl Sunday was 8 days ago. We're on Monday, holiday. I think what's today? President's Day. Is that what today is?
President's Day.
So
Yeah.
we're doing the show on President's Day. I'm off work since I'm a government worker, federal holiday, so I'm off work. So we will cover the Super Bowl. That's obviously our main topic today is going to be Super Bowl 59 recap. We'll touch on some other sporting events because, like we always say, we are from the grid to the rim and anything in between, and we can cover any sporting event that we want to cover and what
Yeah.
you guys want us to cover. So we have some NBA All-Star game things going on. It was a little bit different this year compared to other years, and my co-host and best friend Monte was saying there was some clashing between the United States and Canada during a hockey game for some kind of tournament they're playing in, like a national hockey tournament kind of deal. So yeah, there's some interesting topics on that because
Yeah.
yeah, we'll cover it in the show, but yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Obviously, the main show is Super Bowl 59. The main topic of the show is Super Bowl 59. Obviously, for me, very disappointing. Me and you had no
Yeah.
dogs in the fight, but I
Yeah.
want to see a good game, and I didn't care who won the game, but that was a blowout, and it was surprising because I didn't think with Kansas City's legacy going on and the coach they got, the quarterback they got, the players they got, you think they'd make a game out of this, and they just did not. I thought at some point they would finally have the light bulb will come on. The light bulb just never came on. I thought at
Yeah.
some point it would though. Um, their defense played well, but Mahomes pick six and the other interception to end the second half kind of screwed everything up, and they're down, 24-0 at halftime. But it was 7-0 at the end of the first quarter and like 10-0 middle of the second. I'm like, yeah, it's 10-0. Eagles are dominating possession, but it's only 10-0. And they got Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and
Yeah.
all his other weapons, the great Andy Reid as their head coach. I mean, I'm thinking at some point they're just going to turn it on. They'll eventually score, but just did not happen.
Nope.
We
Mm-mm.
can get into the ins and outs of the game, but before that, I'll let you say what you thought. I was just disappointed, man. Some people absolutely loved it though because they want to see KC get whooped, and they did.
Wow. Well, as a Cowboy fan, I wanted to see Philly get whooped, but they couldn't have played any more flawless than that, man. They played perfect. I gotta give credit where credit is due. They played good. I mean, flawless.
That front four on the defense was
Oh
something else.
man. You know what? On the Kansas City side, they said we're not gonna let your best player beat us. So they didn't.
They kept
We'll,
Barkley in
we'll, we'll
check
let your
all game. Yeah.
yeah, we'll let your second best. If your second best player beats us, hats off to you. That's exactly what happened.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts just ripped him a new one, man. Man, he deserved that MVP. And
Absolutely.
because
I was
Kansas
happy
City said,
for
you
him
know
because
what?
he's been through a lot through
Yeah,
college to the
yeah,
NFL, through everything. Because he got replaced
yeah,
by Tua at Alabama. He
yes,
transferred to Oklahoma. He has a story going on with that.
yeah.
So,
I like how he redeemed himself in that aspect. I like that.
yeah,
I like him as a player. I just don't like the team he's on. But hey,
I'm
I'm,
the
I'm
same
happy.
way. I like him as a player.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
he
happy.
played for the wrong team. Yeah.
And we've been talking about it over and over. Us, the powers that be, that the experts, so to speak, that do this every day, talked about Kansas City offensive line all season. I mean, it was a weak point, and boy, they were exploited. I don't remember seeing Philadelphia blitzing.
They
They
didn't blitz
got
at
to
all.
Mahomes.
They did everything with their front four. They had 6 sacks with their front four, man. They did not blitz one down, I think. Not
Think
one
about that
time.
for a minute. 6 sacks without one blitz. That's unheard of. So we pretty much know what Kansas City's going to address in the offseason. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because yeah, man. Because Patrick was running everywhere. I mean, he tried, but man, he had nowhere to go. That line just couldn't hold him. And oh man, that was a thing of beauty to watch that offensive line work like that. I mean, that defensive line
Defensive
of Philly.
line, yeah. That was
Oh man,
dominant.
I was
Yeah,
like,
you
wow,
can't get no more dominant than what they did.
yeah,
Yeah, like we were saying, I just thought KC at some point would figure things out, like
yeah,
because
yeah,
most of the sports pundits were thinking KC would win, but there was a few. I watched several talk shows, and there was a few that say that Eagles could actually blow out this game, and they were absolutely right. They're
yeah,
looking like $1 million right now. Like there wasn't a lot of people that said that, but there was a couple out there that did say that in all these talk shows, and they're looking really good right now by saying that. But Philly plays zone defense, and they were saying like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, their best strength is with zone defense. They can pick you apart. So I thought they would be able to figure things out, but like you said, Patrick Mahomes just had no time. It was similar. It wasn't quite as bad, but when Tom Brady beat him with Tampa Bay's defense was really
yes,
good, and he was running around for his life in that game. But the score wasn't
yes,
quite as bad, but Tampa Bay was very dominant, and they were by far the
yes,
best team. It wasn't like I said, what the score wasn't as bad. They were still in the game at halftime, but the Tampa Bay had the pressure on Mahomes all game. So
yeah,
and that
yeah.
just
I was
shows
about
you
to
now how
mention
good.
that.
What's that?
Yeah, I was about to mention that. Clearly, Philadelphia. I'm sure they studied some of that film.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did. Yeah,
Yep. They watched Tampa Bay's game tape and they're like, yeah, we're going to do the exact same thing. And
yeah,
man, and they're even better than what Tampa Bay's defense was a couple years ago
yeah,
when
yeah.
Brady got his last ring. So, yeah, it was crazy. I was just surprised that KC had one first down in the first half and like less than 50 yards of offense. It was something crazy like
Oh,
that. One first down. And their first down came in the first play of scrimmage. Their very first play after, KC forced the Eagles to punt, you know, they get the first down the first play. They complete a pass to number 9, Juju Smith-Schuster, the old Pittsburgh
yeah,
Steelers receiver. He gets like 11-yard pass reception on first down. So I'm like, okay, they're off to a good start. First play they get a first down. I'm like, they're okay. And then the wheels, it got worse and worse. Snowball effect as the game went along. They just could. I still can't believe that Andy Reid, as great as he is, and their offensive coordinator, like they could not figure out how to stop Philly's pressure. Like I couldn't believe it. They have no running game. That did not help because you
they
know
couldn't do anything.
yeah. Um, they needed a running game to help offset this, and they had no running game. Because I know that
Yeah,
one running back, Pacheco, was good, but he wasn't quite healthy. He's not 100%. And they brought back Kareem Hunt, and Kareem Hunt has played decent in several games for him. In the middle, I think he got picked up in the middle of the season, so he's been okay. Maybe they didn't give him the ball enough. I don't know. Maybe the play calling was bad. I don't know. Maybe they should have tried running it more. I don't know. So
I thought they should have tried running it more to try to balance it out. If I remember correctly, oh man, it may have been like the first 6 or 7 plays, they only ran the ball once.
yeah,
I might be off on that number a little bit, but man, to try to even it out or attempt to keep Philadelphia off balance, they should have attempted more than they did at the beginning. Now once they were
yeah. When you're
behind
down
by
big, you have no choice but to throw. Yeah,
yeah,
but
you
when
got
you're
to.
still
I get that, but at the start, I think they should have tried to balance that out a little bit.
as much as we're talking about the blowout, this was a game for a while, believe it or not. It was like I know I might have already said this, and I'll say it again. It was only 7-0 at the end of the first quarter.
Mhm.
Um, it was 10-0 middle of the second quarter. And I'm still thinking, like I said before, I'm still thinking like KC's eventually gonna figure this out. It's only
Yeah,
10-0. Like it's still anybody's game. They have Patrick Mahomes and they have all these experienced guys, and
Mhm.
but then Patrick Mahomes threw that pick six. I'm like, well, they better do something now. Now it's 17-0. They went 3-and-out again. I think he got sacked like 2 times in a row after being
Yeah,
down like 17-0, like two back-to-back plays. He's sacked like third and forever. Um, it was just
yeah,
bad. And then,
yeah,
but but like you said, KC's defense is playing good. Really, without the pick six and then Patrick Mahomes throwing the late interception, like within like his second interception, they were at the 15-yard line. They only had to go 15 yards. They scored 3 plays later. Um, I know Philly's linebacker Braun, that guy that they got brought into their team this year. He was a huge factor. He was a new
yeah,
player that wasn't on last year's team in the first game between KC and the Eagles, like 2 years ago. So
Right.
he played a hell of a game. He was great all year. He played another great game, and but really, this score could have been 10-0 at halftime, is what I'm saying, without Patrick Mahomes' pick six and that late interception deep in his own territory, where like a field goal is pretty much a give me unless they get a turnover of their own, which they did not. And they needed a turnover big time, or they needed a missed field goal, they needed a blocked field goal, they needed something, but they ended up scoring, a touchdown. So, man, it was bad, brother. It was bad. I'm just
Yeah.
disappointed. But like I said, some people wanted to see KC get whooped, and they got what they wanted to see. So I was just disappointed from a fan standpoint.
So we touched on this last time we had the show, and I got a question for you, and I have a question for everybody listening.
Yes, go for
Does
it.
this take? Should we shelf the goat talk for Mahomes for as for now
I
because
think
of
we
this?
should. Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, he's a great quarterback. I'm not going to take anything away from Mahomes. He still made
No.
history by he is the only quarterback to play in three Super Bowls in a row. Obviously, he,
Yes.
he couldn't three-peat. We know that. That's a no-brainer with what happened. But
Yeah.
he was still the only quarterback to play in three Super Bowls in a row and having a chance to three-peat. So that counts for something. But I think he had to win this game to be considered a GOAT, and they got whooped. So I think he's out of the GOAT conversation for now.
Yeah. He just had a bad game. He's still probably the best quarterback overall out there. Remember now, Brady went 10 years before there was a 10-year span where Brady didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he won the first couple early,
So,
and then he took a while to get back. You're
yeah.
right. He was
Yeah.
even talking about
So,
that in some of these talk shows. It took him a while. Yeah. Then that made
yeah.
him refocus. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Mahomes is still great. He had a bad game. He's not trash, nowhere near it. So, no, he would be in the conversation if he would have repeated or
If
brought
he
him back and
three-peated, yeah,
replaced
he
him.
would be in the conversation because he's the only quarterback to ever do that. So
So,
yeah, he would
yeah.
have to be in the conversation at least. People might agree and disagree based on what they think of their opinions,
Yeah.
but
But,
opinions come from everywhere, man. It depends on a lot of things why people
yeah.
think what they think. So,
But
but
yeah, but if he can win a couple more, he'll be back in the conversation. So I'm not.
I
But yeah,
agree.
but for right now, even though it all wasn't his fault, now the line wasn't helping him.
The offensive
But
line did not help him at all. It just goes to show
yeah,
how
so,
much, no matter how good of a dang quarterback you are, you need time to throw the ball. Uh,
yeah,
you could be
yeah,
you can have the best accuracy, like you could be a really good scrambler.
yes,
You can have all these intangibles, but you need at least a couple of seconds to be able to find someone open and throw it accurately.
yeah,
Because that's what led to his second interception was like he was getting pressured. I think someone hit his
yeah,
arm and it made him a
yeah,
little bit off target. And Braun made a great play on the ball. And I mean, second interception of the game. So
yeah, yeah. And their line's been suspect all season, and Philadelphia found a way to exploit it, and they did a pretty good job. So yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, hats
Um,
off to them.
yeah, hats off to them. Like I said, gotta give credit where credit's due. Happy for Jalen Hurts, happy for Saquon Barkley. I kind of like Sirianni more than I used to. I didn't like Sirianni for a while, but now in hindsight, I kind of like him because I saw some of his interviews before the game, and I kind of like what he's about. And he's
Yes,
okay. He's just on the wrong team. He's a
yeah,
coach of the wrong team. It's like certain players that we like for the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts on the wrong team. And there's others I like, but he's a pretty good coach because he's been to the Super Bowl in his first 4 years of coaching. He's been to the Super Bowl two times. Now he's got one Super Bowl ring in his first 4 years coaching with the Eagles. So that's pretty dang good when you think about it. And he's an emotional guy. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. I think he's honest, and I respect
yes,
that. Whether I agree with him or not, it doesn't matter. I like that he's honest. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. But he says what he thinks, and he
yes,
stands by what he says. And um, he seems like a pretty good guy. He seems like a family guy, and I like that he gets emotional during the national anthem. He cares about the national anthem. Um,
yes, yes.
yeah, there's things to like about this guy. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Where's his emotions on his sleeve? I like that. That's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. And like I said, he says what he means. He doesn't sugarcoat things. So you're not going to be
Yeah.
thinking like, well, is he really being honest, or is he just, like, no, he's going to say what he says. So take it or leave it, man. So
Yeah.
um, let's get into the. You want to get into the over and unders we were talking about?
Yeah. 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 I did terrible on a lot of these, but
Yeah, I had a couple right, but I had a couple wrong. So, but a couple of them I got right. I was wrong about Saquon Barkley getting over 100 yards. He got stuffed, but I'm still happy he won the game. They wouldn't be there
yeah.
without him. We know that. So, but the the KC did a good job stuffing him.
So the first one I had here was who would score the first TD. I think we were both wrong.
I
You
said
had Kelsey,
Kelsey.
I had Barkley, and
It was
was
Jalen
18
Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. Jalen
He ran
Hurts.
he ran in for a touchdown. Yep.
Sure did. Man,
It
that
was
was
the tush
good.
push, right? The tush push,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
the Philly special, whatever the hell they call it in
Yeah.
Philly. Everyone knows what we're talking
The
about.
the brotherly shove.
The
I've
brotherly
heard a bunch of
shove.
names.
Everyone else calls it the tush push, but they call it the brotherly
Yeah.
shove. That's right.
Yeah. I thought this was an obvious one, and we were, well, thanks to Casey's defense on holding Barkley. If he would have a run over 25 and a half yards, and they did a good job on him. I
He had
don't
a
think
couple
he had a
10
long
plus
run.
yard runs, but he did not get no 25 plus yard run. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he would, but no, he didn't. They
No.
they
He
focused
got
on him.
close once or twice where I thought he might break it, but then they tackled him. He had like a 10 or 12 yard run where it looked like he might be able to get to the outside, but they did a good job of getting to his legs, getting him down on the ground.
And you called it on this one, and I kind of called it on this one. Will there be a special teams defense, a
Yeah,
special
the
teams or
pick
defensive
six.
score? Yeah. And I said if there was, it would be Mahomes would throw a pick six.
You did say that. And I said the
Yeah,
guy.
but
I called the guy.
yeah, you sure did.
I said
Yeah,
Iowa's
nice call.
rookie. Yep.
Man, nice. That was a good
Yeah, we
job on
both
that
got
one.
that right in our own way. Yep. Yeah.
This one I have no idea which team would win the coin toss. Do you remember that? I
Yeah.
have no
I
clue who.
said I said Phil. I think I said Philly would, but Eagles. I mean, the KC won it, and they deferred and got the ball back at halftime in the second half, which
Okay.
they desperately needed, and they did nothing. They could have made it a game. They did something, but of course we know they did nothing. So
No, I said Philly, so yeah, I'm not
I think
sure
we
what
both
happened there.
said, yeah, I think we both said Philly on that one.
We both got this one right. Will both teams score over or under? Well, I got it wrong. Over or under 48 and a half points. You got the over. I said it would be under.
Yeah, it was only over because it's a blowout, but yeah, it was
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Think Philly almost got all that by themselves.
Yeah,
Shoot.
I was thinking I was going to be under, but they just kept on scoring. I'm like, dang, man.
Yeah. And I think we needed to put a missing persons flyer out for Travis Kelsey. I don't know where he went because he didn't score any touchdowns. We both said he would.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of it's because
Two
Mahomes
drop,
couldn't connect with him. I meant to
yeah,
cover
two
that
drop
earlier in the
passes.
show. Yeah, he had zero
Yeah,
catches in the first half. He had four for the game. He had
yeah,
four catches for 39 yards, but they're all in the second half, and a couple of them are during garbage time when it was completely the door was blown wide open and it didn't even freaking matter
yeah.
anymore. So, I mean, yeah, he played. I mean, it wasn't all his fault because I know
No,
in the first half. I mean, in the first half, Mahomes tried connecting with him a couple times on a couple targets, and he was under pressure and he was delivering inaccurate passes, and Kelsey couldn't catch them. So,
yeah,
yeah, he was throwing low and away. He was throwing he was inaccurate because of the pressure. And those have been like tremendously hard catches for even as good as Kelsey and his guys are. It's hard when they're low and away and they're at your freaking ankles. And yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's hard to
yeah,
do. That's
yeah,
hard.
that's
Yeah.
hard to freaking catch when you're running. Yeah, so
Hmm. Okay, the kicker. Will either kicker make over a 50-yard field goal? I think there was a close one, but not necessarily a 50-yarder. Was that 48 or
and it was
49
Philly's
yards?
kicker. I said KC's kicker would be more better for that, but Philly's kicker was Elliott was on point.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't
I
think
think
they
there
made
was
one
a
of them.
50 yarder. I think he did make a.
I think there was.
It was close. It might have been 49 or
Yeah,
50 yards. It was really close. Yeah.
yeah. I'm gonna have to go back on that one and look, but Yeah, it was either at 50 or like
Or
you said,
just
49.
below it. Yeah, it was like 49 or 50. I remember that kick. Yeah, he was right down the
Yeah.
middle too. Like he was on
Oh
point.
yeah, yeah,
I thought Bucker had the advantage in the field goal kicking game because Bucker has been a pretty reliable kicker, and Elliott's kind of like off and on, like I was saying last show. But he was on point. He was on point in the Super Bowl. So
yeah. Well, I don't remember the guy's name that sang the national anthem. He did a good job, by the way. Very good job.
he did a good job. It
But
was unique. It was New Orleans style. It was different, but it was
yeah,
good.
yeah. So we said it would go over 2 minutes, and we were right.
Yeah, I was like,
He,
there's no
he held
way with
that
New
last
Orleans, their
note.
style, like they would make it 5 minutes. Like
Oh yeah,
they can
yeah,
drag it on for a while with the way they play music with their trumpets
yeah,
and saxophones
yeah,
and everything else. Like it's gonna be long, man.
yeah. Jazz, blues. Yep.
Yeah,
That was a good way they did that. That's
yeah.
nice. I
I
enjoyed
liked
it.
it. Yeah, I liked it. It was
Yeah.
classy. They didn't just
Off the subject.
they didn't disrespect the national anthem at all. They were good. They had their own unique style.
It was nice. I like a little bit off the subject. How'd you like that halftime show?
I was gonna mention it, so I'm glad you did. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it because they don't like rap, but I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you had Serena Williams out there dancing. I mean, that surprised the crap out of me. There's some comments about that by Stephen A. Smith, by
Okay.
the way.
Do you get the message? What he was doing? Do you understand what he was doing?
Not maybe not necessarily since you bring it up. You enlighten me.
Uh, I'll just get into the Drake part because the other part is really not. I'll talk to you about that later. But
Okay.
he and Drake have a beef.
And I said this last show they had a beef. I was wondering if they would do
Yeah,
something, if he would do something in their show about that, but I didn't catch it because
yes,
I don't know enough about their music to know. So
yeah. And that song, "They Not Like Us," is directed toward Drake. The reason why Serena was in the show because she used to date Drake.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
So
right.
it was it was kind of a shot at him, and he won this battle a long time ago, but he's being a little petty and said, "Hey, I got you." And yeah, he got him. So
I
yeah,
didn't know the whole Serena Williams. I knew I thought Serena
yeah,
Williams did one, but I wasn't sure. That makes sense now. Yeah, I should have caught on to
yeah,
that, but that makes sense. I knew there was a lot of topic about her and why she was in the show, so that makes sense.
but
So
yeah, but yeah, the whole show had a message of how society wants musicians to play a certain way, and he was saying, "No, I'm not going to do it the way you want. I'm going to do it the way I want." That was the reputation, the representation of Samuel Jackson as Uncle Sam.
yeah,
The U.S. telling him you should do it this way. He's like, "No, I'm gonna do it my way." So
yeah,
that's one way of putting it. So yeah, there was a lot of messages behind that, and yeah, I like that kind of music. So I didn't have a problem with it. I was cool with it.
yeah. I thought the choreography was good. I didn't quite understand the message at the time, but obviously I like Samuel L. Jackson, and I like I thought like I said, I thought the choreography was good. I liked them coming out of the car. Like I
So,
swear to God, like 20 people came out of that car. I was like, where do they put all of them?
yeah,
But
yeah,
they're coming out of the
that was
trunk
cool.
and the seats, and like he was standing on top of the hood. I liked it. Yeah, and yeah, I liked his music, and he had some dance moves themselves. It was good. So yeah, I liked
Yeah,
it. So I was fine. Like I said, a lot of people don't like that music, so they probably went to go get something to eat. Like Dave would have, like, nope, I'm getting something to eat. So, yeah, but I watched it because I'm always interested to see what the halftime performer is going to do. So I'll
yeah,
deal with it. But I missed some of the messages, but I'm glad you told me that. That makes, but like I said, it makes total sense from what you're saying. So,
yeah.
yep, yep, yep. I
Okay.
got some stats for the game though before we get into NBA and
Yeah.
everyone's waiting for this
What you got, man?
hockey talk. Uh, Team stats kind of misleading, but because KC got a lot of their yards in the fourth quarter when they're scoring on trash time. Hold on, let me check my cell phone. My son texted me. Oh, he said he's leaving now. I thought he was gonna leave at 1 o'clock. But anyways, all right. I thought I'd be home by now. But anyways, my son's coming back home to help me take care of the dogs.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
So Kansas City's total yards was 275 yards. Eagles was 345 total yards. That stat doesn't look like it was much of a difference, but trust me, it was a big difference. Almost all of KC yards came in the fourth quarter. They were down 40-6 at one point, but they scored two touchdowns and got both 2-point conversions late in the fourth quarter to make it 40-22. So that score was like a little bit misleading, but this was a beatdown. This was a straight
Yeah.
beatdown.
Yeah.
KC's passing yards was 226. Eagles was 210. Rushing yards for KC was 49 rushing yards. And that's what the difference was. Eagles had 135 rushing yards because without, but Jalen Hurts was the leading rusher because like Saquon Barkley did get shut down. I go over his stats in a minute. First downs was lopsided, what you expect. That stat's not misleading. That stat is exactly the way it would look in a blowout game. It was 21 first downs for the Eagles, 12 first downs for KC. And like I said, KC only had one first down at halftime. Total plays, Eagles had a lot more plays like we thought they would. That looks accurate. 70 plays to 49 plays. We already mentioned Eagles had 6 sacks. KC only had 2. Wow. KC had 2. But their defense did play really good in the first half, minus the pick sixes and all the interceptions. KC's defense was on point in the first half. It very easily could have been a 10-0 game, like we already said. Time of possession, Eagles had the ball 36 minutes and 58 seconds, and KC had it 23 minutes and 2 seconds. So that stat is fairly accurate to the score of the game. Like a couple stats are maybe misleading, like total yards is kind of misleading, like it wasn't a big difference, but all the other stats kind of make sense. The quarterback stats, Patrick Mahomes and the stats are kind of misleading because it looked like he threw for a lot of yards total, but they all came in the fourth quarter. He was 21 out of 32, 257 yards, which looks like a decent game. 3 touchdowns and 2 picks, one being a pick six, another one being very deep in his territory. To end the first half 24-0, which kind of like iced the game for Philly pretty much. And Mahomes was a leading rusher for his team. Both quarterbacks were leading rushers for their teams. Mahomes had 4 carries for 25 yards. Wow. When your leading rusher is 4 carries for 25 yards, you got a running problem.
Yes.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts' stats, 17 out of 22, very accurate, only 5 incompletions, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but he had a rushing TD, so 3 total TDs, and he was the leading rusher for his team, like I already said, 11 carries, 72 yards, and the brotherly shove for his touchdown, being the first touchdown of the game that we both got wrong. So Hurts just had a great game. He pretty much had 300 total yards between passing and running, 3 total touchdowns. Like Hurts completely deserved the MVP. But like you said, you almost could give the whole entire Phillies defense. But I'm glad they gave it to Hurts though, because yeah, he's overcome a lot, and I was completely cool with Hurts being the MVP for this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he deserved it. Well deserved. Yes.
All right.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens for next year. I mean, it should be an interesting season, that's for sure. I have no idea who's going to be in it next year. I mean, could be these 2 teams again. Who knows?
It could be. I think most people, I think we agree, and I think most sports pundits agree. KC is probably definitely going to make the playoffs as long as they stay healthy. They still got a lot of good players there. But like you mentioned, they need to fix this offensive line, which is going to be, I'm sure, in their draft, and maybe through some free agency and all this other stuff going on. Like they're going to figure out how to get some better offensive linemen because they got exposed, like you said. That's like a broken record. We said that several times, but they looked bad. That's number 1 for them. But I forgot to mention one guy. I forgot to mention a couple of guys actually before we get into NBA. One guy who did play good for KC was Xavier Worthy, the rookie. He had a good game, even though they got their butts whipped. He had 8 receptions, 157 yards, and 2 touchdown catches.
Yes.
So in a butt whooping loss, he did play well as a rookie. The moment wasn't too big for him.
No.
He looked good. Devontae Smith, Alabama receiver, 4 receptions, 69 yards, 1 big touchdown pass to really put the game out of reach. I think when it was like 27-0, they made it 34-0 when it Hurts hit them on that bomb, the 50-yard pass. Yeah, he had a huge catch. Yeah, so there were some guys who did really well, man. And
Yeah.
the book reading guy, the guy reading the self-help book,
Oh, AJ Brown.
AJ Brown had a touchdown reception of his own. He had like three or
Yes.
four catches also, and he had a touchdown catch. So
Yes.
a lot of Philly guys played well. Both
Yes.
their both the receivers played well. Goddard had a couple of big catches in the first half. He didn't really do much in the second half, but he had some big catches early on in the game. They're tied in, so everyone stepped up when Saquon Barkley didn't have his best game. So that was the big thing for Philly's offense. It was like, yeah, we were wondering like I was wondering how well would Philly play
Mhm.
if they shut down Barkley, and they showed like, yeah, we could win this game without Barkley. So that was good for them. So yeah, it was huge, man. But drag it on with the NFL. Let's get into the NBA. I'll let you cover that. This halftime, you're talking about how I'm sorry, not halftime, but you're talking about how they had a different format for the NBA All-Star game. So what's going on with that,
Yeah.
brother?
What I like is right after the Super Bowl, we have the NBA All Star Game, and like I talked about before, frankly, the All Star Game it sucked.
Hmm.
It has the past couple of seasons just terrible. Launching threes from mid court and dunking, no defense. Just bad. Last year was terrible. So this year is a send off from TNT. I think this is going to be their last year having the All Star game and that four-man crew together with Kenny, Charles, Shaq, and who am I forgetting? Kenny, Charles, Shaq. Who am I missing?
Kenny
Kenny.
Charles, Shaq, Barkley, no, Kenny Charles. Yeah, who are you missing?
Oh my goodness.
Kenny,
Uh,
Smith, Charles, Shaq. Who else
the,
is
the the
there?
moderator. Oh, who the
Ernie
moderator?
Smith,
Uh,
Ernie
Ernie Johnson. Ernie
Johnson.
Johnson. So they did kind of a send off for him, and I kind of like this format. They gave Charles a team, Kenny a team, Shaq and Candace Owens a team. Shaq had the OGs, the
Candace Owens or Candace Parker?
Parks. Why did I say Owens? Parker.
Yeah, I know
Sorry,
what you meant. I knew who you meant.
yeah. My goodness, Parker. Thank you for. Shaq had the OGs. LeBron, who didn't play last night, he was on that team. Steph, Durant, Harden, Irving, Lillard, Jason Tatum. It's a good squad. Chuck had the global all stars, mainly international players.
Hmm.
Jokic, SGA was on that team. Donovan Mitchell,
Mm.
Pascal Siakam from New Mexico State. Cat was on that team. Uh, Wemby was on that team, and Trey Young was on that team. Kenny Smith had the youngins, the young all stars. Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Tyler Hero, Jaron Jackson, uh, Evan Mobley, some pretty good players.
Yeah, they're all three teams got some pretty dang good players.
Yeah.
Wow.
Candace Parker had maybe the weakest, but the rising stars. Stephen Castle, Ryan Dunn, some guy named Dalton Connect. I wouldn't have no idea who that
Yeah, we
is.
know who that is. Yeah. You being a Lakers fan, you better know who that is. Yeah,
From
he's having a
Tennessee,
good.
playing for my Lakers. I like that.
Yeah.
Uh, Amen Thompson, Jalen Wells, Zach Edey's on that team.
Oh, all right, on. Yeah, he's having a good rookie
Uh,
year. Yeah, he's doing better
yeah,
than what we thought. I'm kind of happy for him. Yeah.
yeah. I thought he would do terrible. No, he's proving me wrong. He's doing excellent.
Yeah.
So the format was a 14 playoff. The first team to 40. Uh, Chuck's team beats Kenny's team 41-32. Shaq's team beat Kansas's team 42-35. And Shaq's team, the OGs, won the championship against Chuck's team 42-25. So my question to you guys: how do you like this format? Similar. I mean, should we do something similar? Should we do what hockey's doing? And we'll get into that in a minute. Um, my take on this, I'm okay with it. And I like that they're trying to do something to make it better because just the way it's been the past couple of years wasn't going to go. I mean, they're talking about canceling it like they did football, just making it with just how they do the 3-point game, the dunk contest, and then just
Hmm.
naming the players to the All-Star game. They were talking about doing that. So if they continue to come up with good ideas, new ideas, something like this, I'm okay with it. I mean, I like that they tried something.
I'm glad. I agree with you. Yeah, I did not watch the All-Star game. Only reason why I almost forgot about it. But the only reason why I knew the All-Star game was going on because I was at dinner with Chiaki on Friday night. Since I knew, her and my daughter were going to Japan today, and we had dinner on Valentine's Day, and we are at Applebee's, and the the one of the games was on, not the All Star game, but the celebrity game was on Friday. I was like, oh yeah, it's NBA All Star Weekend. Celebrity game's on right now, so I was watching the celebrities play a little bit. That's like, oh, that's what clued me in. Other than that, I would have not even known. But I like the idea. I like the fact that they're trying to do something different because yeah, their TV ratings have plummeted, not just during the regular season, but definitely during the All-Star game. Like horrible, man. I mean, All-Star
Yes.
games are horrible, man. I mean, scoring like 150 points in one game is just ridiculous. I mean, we like fast games, we like dunks, but you gotta play some defense, man. It's gotta look
Yeah.
like a real game to a certain extent, And um, I think they should continue doing that. I like that format. That might bring in the viewers
Yeah.
back, and
Yeah.
so I think
I
that
mean,
was a
some of
good
these
idea.
players are. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, some of these players are not all stars, but most of them are. I mean, some of them were just fill-ins to put in the whole,
Yeah, most of them were like
make
the
that.
rising stars. Maybe weren't, like
Yeah.
Candace Parker's team, like
Yes.
you said, but
Yeah.
they're upcoming players that they're close. I mean, they're rising stars. Like you had a good first year or two in the NBA, and it looks like you might be doing something in the future. So
Yeah.
you know, I was okay with that. I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, I think it's good, it's better, and most of those games were close, so they were actually probably
Yeah.
actually playing. So and not just shooting half court threes like you're saying and letting guys dunk because
Yeah.
there's not even running back on defense. I mean, so um, yeah, I think it was good. But listen, I want to talk about Max McClung though. I didn't see the dunk contest, but I still like everything. My favorite part of All Star Weekend is
Yeah.
actually everything before. I like the 3-point shooting contest. That's been a thing for a long time with all the great shooters there, and I like the dunk contest.
I
And
love the
Max
dunk contest.
McClung, I didn't see it live. I saw some of his dunks on highlights, and oh my
Yep.
goodness,
Same here.
oh my goodness.
What was he
DX
jumping over
Georgetown
cars
player. That
and
dude, that dude he's a bad white boy, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He can, yeah, yeah. White
He's
man
not
can
very
jump.
tall.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the old movie that we watched together, we used to have good memories. White Men Can't Jump. I love that movie.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
he can jump. So yeah,
He
that
can
dude.
jump.
Yeah,
Yeah, that narrative's over. Yeah, no more.
I mean that
Yeah,
dude's
man.
jumping over cars and people and doing reverse dunks and like, oh my God, dude. So yeah, that was insane. Like, yeah, that's still my favorite part because that's to me that's always been better than the All Star game, the 3-point shooting contest and the dunk contest. So Max McClung has brought some life to the dunk contest. I think he's won what
Yeah,
2 years in a row now.
yeah.
So
Second year in a row, well deserved. All those dunks were insane. A guy on one of those boards spinning, and oh man, what's the
yeah,
other one he did? He tapped on the rim and then dunked it.
yeah.
On the woo.
I was like,
That's
dang,
that's
yeah,
creative.
yeah. He's very creative, man. Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
nice.
something else, man. I was like, dang, man,
Mhm.
that's woo, man.
Yeah.
But that was fun. That was fun to watch that, man. Let's talk about. I'll let you open about hockey because since you brought these two subjects up to me, I'll let you bring it up because yeah, I had no clue about hockey either. So I'm glad you've been paying
Yeah.
attention to sports the past week or two.
Well, hockey has this tourney called the Four Nations Face Off. Sweden, Finland, Canada, and the United States. It's 14 playoff. Uh, had a little bit of an incident the other day, last couple nights ago. Have the U.S. playing the Canadian team in Montreal. Huh, guess what happens during the national anthem? Canadians start booing our national anthem. So Our players weren't having it. I'm not exaggerating. There were three fights within the first minute. And I'm thinking there were three fights within the first 30 seconds of the fight. Three fights. I mean, bad blood. And we're not going to get into the politics of why they booed and all that stuff. I mean, that's for another show. But yeah, if you want to start a fight, you boo somebody's national anthem. I mean, that'll pretty much do it there. And yeah, U.S. ends up winning this matchup 3-1 during the championship. They play again tonight. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. They'll play the winner in the championship, I believe, the Sweden Canada matchup. So I would like to see Canada play the U.S. again and see what happens. I'm sure it's going to be a battle.
Yeah.
So looks like the NBA took a little bit of a page out of this here. I kind of see where they're going with it. We talked about doing a USA versus the World NBA matchup.
Yeah.
That might work.
That can work.
Hopefully
Yeah.
that's in the work.
I would like that. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
good. That'll bring more
So,
competition because then there'll be more pride on the line. Yeah, there people can be
yes,
playing in that game. Yeah.
yes. So, and what they did yesterday was excellent. I didn't see it, but I like the idea. But yeah, I these tournaments and hockey's always had a good all-star game. I think this is their all-star break as well. I'm not sure. And they pretty much take it serious. It's none of that.
Yeah,
They're
they're
not going
still
to give up any.
playing. They're still playing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I'll probably catch the game tonight. I don't watch hockey unless it's international play. And this is international play, so I might catch it tonight.
Yeah, I usually watch hockey during the Stanley Cup playoffs and then the final, whoever
Yeah.
wins the Stanley Cup. Yeah, but hockey is a good sport in its own right. And like I was saying in pregame, one of my really good friends, my old coworkers, one of my QAs at my last job, he's really into hockey. And he always jokes around saying, "Hey, Ken, you and your friend Monty talk about the wrong sports on your show. You need to talk about hockey." So he's like, "That's the real sport." So he's always messing
Yeah.
with me about that. But I'm sure he's well aware of this incident. So now that you mentioned it, I'm gonna have to talk to him over the next couple of days and send him a text message. Hey, tell me what do you think about that? So
Yeah.
yeah, because he's really into hockey. Like I said at the pregame, like he's actually sponsored high school kids to come out here. My dad was actually a security guard. Me and Earl, when we came from El Paso to see my dad before I joined the Navy 30 plus years ago, the trip you were supposed to go on, but you couldn't. Remember?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
My dad and one of his other Army buddies that he was up here with, at Fort Lewis at the time, they were security guards. And it was for one of those kinds of games. It was for like these high school players that are like, I don't know what the name of the program is. My friend Chris Lawson, who I'm talking about, will exactly know what their program is called, but it's basically like high school players that are like potential players for the NHL. They're coming from like all over the United States, Canada,
Nice.
like other countries probably in the world. Like they get sponsored to come here, and someone's got to be a host family for these kids. And my old coworker, he was a host family for several of these kids that were coming from a long ways away, and they were playing hockey up here because they were potential, like they were really good high school players that had potential to possibly NHL players in the future. So it's interesting. So yeah, he knows his hockey. So yeah, so I'll be interested to see what he's got to say about this.
Yeah.
But I won't bring up politics either. But I will say this:
Yes.
you should never, ever, ever disrespect someone's national anthem. I don't care who's it. I'm not just saying because I'm American and disrespecting the American national anthem, but you should absolutely not do that because what do most of these players got to do with any of that crap? Nothing. They're there to play a game, So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know why they did
Yeah.
that, and personally, I'm kind of glad they wanted to fight them. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like good for
Yeah.
you guys. I would do the same thing. You
Yeah.
want to disrespect me? Roger that. Roger that.
So I mean,
In
it was a
hockey, you're allowed to
fan
fight and
being
not get kicked out.
there.
Other sports, you'd be kicked out. But in hockey, like you're not getting kicked out. That's the craziest thing about hockey. It's like, oh, I'm going to sit down for 2 minutes. I'm like a little kid. Put me in the corner. Like I'm in the penalty box. My nose is in the corner for 2 minutes. Like I'll do that all game long. If I could get away with punching somebody and not get kicked out of the game, like why not? Like I'm not promoting violence, people,
Yeah.
but I think hockey is funny. I think it's funny that
Yeah.
they just don't get kicked. Every other sport, if you throw a punch, you're gone. Like if you're
Yeah.
caught, you are absolutely gone. You're probably suspended for like a month or something. Like, and it's bad enough like the Malice in the Palace, you may never be able to play again, you know. So
Oh yeah,
the old NBA game, Detroit Pistons,
I
and
remember that.
who was it? Who was the other team? But that fight is Ron Artest, Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, Indiana.
Ron Artest and all those guys, or Meta Peace. I know he changed his name, but everyone knows what I'm talking about. So that was absolutely crazy. And that was all from a fan. That
Yeah,
fan was wrong. He should never be allowed to come back. You know what? Detroit Pistons
yes,
got they let him go back, and he's almost like proud of what he did, which is absolutely insane.
yeah,
That's why I don't understand. I don't understand fans sometimes. Like, what makes you think just because you pay tickets you could do crap like that?
yeah,
I know tickets are expensive, but but you don't get. There's a certain point where you just be kicked out and never be allowed to come back. Like, I don't care how much money
yeah,
you paid for that ticket. If you cross the line, like if you just do something one time, maybe you're not kicked out a lifetime ban, but you might be not be able to come back for like the rest of the season or something. But
right.
I think Detroit Pistons fans are wrong. I'm not saying as a whole. I know some Detroit Pistons fans that are okay, like aren't okay with it. So don't get me wrong, Detroit, but I still feel like there's some kind of grunge of certain cities. I've talked about before, like Philadelphia, like Boston, New York.
Hmm.
Obviously, not all fans are like this. I'm not like putting them all on the spot, but there's just certain places where it's like they are completely okay with their culture, and I don't understand why. Like, your culture is not okay. It's promoting bad culture. You're teaching your kids this culture. It's been going on for like 3 or 4 generations. Like, why? And it's not like my shit don't stink. I'm far from perfect, but I just don't get it why they think this kind of behavior is okay as a fan at a game. Like, I
Yeah,
don't get it. I don't get it. What's your
yeah,
take? I know I've been rambling on, but I just don't understand that kind of crap. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know why the Canadian fans did. Well, I mean, there's stuff going on that they probably don't agree with, but that's not the time to do it.
that's
Just
definitely
yeah,
not the time to do it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It it fired up the American team, and they kicked their butts because of their fans doing that.
yeah,
Good. I hope they do it again too.
yeah.
So,
You motivated us. Like,
yeah,
I know Canada, and don't get me wrong, Canadians. Like, I know there's a lot of good Canadian people. I think there's good people from all throughout the world.
oh,
In every
absolutely.
country throughout the world. That I think 90% of people are good people, and then we have the 10%. So but I know Canada cares about their freaking hockey. I know that they're very prideful about hockey because that's
Yes.
like their primary sport. So I know they take it seriously playing the Americans in hockey. I do know that, but
Mhm.
that's one thing I know for sure. They've always been prideful on hockey, man. Like, that's like their thing, man. Like, that's their number one go to. Like, Europe likes soccer, what Canada likes hockey.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so anyways, I think it's very interesting. But yeah, this closing, like, yeah, I don't care what country you're from. Like, fans have no right to act the way they do sometimes, and I don't know why they think they can do these kinds of things. And like, I just don't get where their brain is at.
Yeah.
I don't get it. So I think it needs to stop. Oh, there's one thing I mentioned, and it's about hockey, but it's actually here in the States. It has nothing to do with Canada or the United States, but it was in the States. I think it might have been in Washington State. It was in somewhere in America, and it might have been here in Washington State where, well, it was on the news 2 weeks ago since you brought up some things with hockey. A dad. This was like a little kid's hockey game, like
Oh no.
peewees. All right. The officials are high school kids or like 14, 15-year-old kids. They're officials for a peewee game. A dad comes onto the court because he's upset about something. He pushes both these officials to the ground very hard, like assault.
Oh, come on, man.
It was all over the news in
Why?
Washington State. So I think it happened here. I could be wrong. I think it happened in Washington somewhere. I guess I might be wrong, but I know it was on the local news, and I'm like, what makes a dad think
Oh my goodness.
these kids are
Oh
like
man.
14 or 15-year-old boys. They're trying to do a good thing by reffing little kids. Like, they're doing community
Yes.
service. Like, hey, I like hockey. I play hockey. I'm going to help out these little kids. I'll volunteer to be an official for some
Yes.
kids younger than me. Adults, we need to act like adults. Um,
Thank you.
Like, I hope the parents of these kids press charges on that dude. Seriously. I hope he gets screwed. He deserves what he gets. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't
No
know.
place in sports for that. No place in sports. Can't have
No
that.
place in sports. Do officials make mistakes? Do officials make questionable calls? Absolutely. I've had some myself. But here's the other kicker, and this isn't picking on peewees because it can happen in any game at any level: high school, varsity, JV, middle school, college ball, professional, whatever. But I'm telling you, I've been a football official for 3 years. My first year as a basketball official, and I think the bigger problem we have in sports is at the peewee level. I don't know where parents get off. Like that's where parents have most of the problems from what I've seen as an official. Like I don't get it. Like there's no scouts at these games. Like they're in developmental stages. They're putting on skates or putting on the cleats for the first time. Like they're just trying to figure things out to see if they even like playing the sport. I mean, they might have other interests. Maybe they like it and they continue to play. Maybe they figure out something else they want to do. Like I don't get it. Pee-wee parents, for the ones of you doing the right things, which is most of them, I appreciate it. But even in some of my games, I hear these. I've never kicked anyone out. I hear comments, and it's like, dude, like what's up, man? Like,
Mhm.
you know, I said I was wrong, but I did comment to one parent one time, and you should never do this as official. So I was wrong. I never did it again, but I did say something because in basketball games, like the officials are very close. I mean, the fans are very close to you, like they're like right behind you. So I told the one dad. Luckily, nothing happened because I could have instigated something, not on purpose, but that's why you should never say anything as an official. You just should just ignore it or kick them out or warn them. But I responded back to him. Hey, brother, man, like if you want to join our officials association, come on right ahead. We'll be happy to have you. If you know, if you know the game, come on out here, brother. I'm standing here. You're 25 feet over there. So if you want to come out here and help us out, come on, help us out, man. And then he shut up though. I was wrong for
Yeah.
doing that, but I shut him up. But I was wrong because I could have incited him. So I was wrong. But I'm human and I couldn't help myself, and I just decided to respond back to him. It was during a
Mhm.
timeout, and he was annoying me, and I said what I said. So but the good news is it shut him up. He actually said, "Sorry, I'm sorry, man. I'll shut up." And like, that's a good idea. So, well, I didn't say it was a good idea, but I was like, okay, no problem, man. But yeah, but I was thinking like, yeah, you need to close it, man. So, anyways, I've been dragging on way too long, but I just had to bring that up.
That's all right, man. Good stuff. Good stuff, man.
But
Yeah, very good.
but once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, Monty. I've been dragging on. So, do you have anything in closing? Because I've been talking way too much.
No, you're good, man. Good stuff, man. Folks, we want to hear your takes on what we talked about today, your opinion, your about what we talked about the show. If you saw this hockey deal, what you think about it. Oh man, we'd love to hear it. We'd love to hear your feedback. It'll help us.
Yep, I agree. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll be back for March Madness. March Madness is coming up soon, the most exciting time of year, in my opinion. That and probably
Yeah,
Super Bowl. Super Bowl was disappointing, but March Madness is never disappointing because something always crazy happens with March Madness. That's why it's called March Madness. So it's coming soon, folks. So we will be back for that. But thanks for watching and peace out. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you guys for March Madness.